Almost from the moment that the Dodge Viper RT10 was first shown to the world at the 1989 Detroit Auto Show, it has been the undisputed performance kingpin built in America. An 8-liter V10 engine hurls this outrageous two-seater to 60 miles per hour from a standstill in 4 seconds, through the quarter mile in 12, and it tops out at over 175 miles per hour. It is one super bad renegade. Sports cars, by definition, are born athletes, and athletes thrive on competition. So, to the shock of no one, the Dodge Viper has been staked to an aggressive racing program by the speed demons inside Chrysler, resulting in the Viper GTS-R. And according to the man at the top of the Pentastar's racing operation, the decision to go to the track wasn't a last-minute impulse.
You could consider that as early as 1989 and as late as 1992, we started really looking at it from the platform team environment, and this was the first vehicle that really brought the platform team concept to Chrysler Corporation. Once we realized what an asset it was, the next element of that asset was to develop the fullest potential of the engineers and designers. And that's why in probably late 93 and early 94, the decision was made that it would be a good idea to research the concept of racing the car in the endurance environment. And late in 94, we began testing that. And in 1995, the vehicle actually did go out and do some testing in the local environment. In 1996, we actually did start endurance racing it in Europe.
Going from a production car to a full-house racing machine takes more than a wave of a magic wand.
It did have some intuitive challenges for the designers, but the reality of it was creating a race car out of a production car forced them to stretch the concept of durability and reliability and then turn that back into ideas to put right back into the production car for the customer that you can see and drive at your local Dodge dealer today.
When the Viper racing program was first announced, the great masses of automotive cynics and naysayers had a field day, convinced that the bulky roadster with the primitive mechanicals and lack of racing pedigree was doomed to an embarrassing series of international humiliations. They were wrong.
We have won last year the FIA GT2 championship for both the manufacturer and the driver's championship. And we're the first U.S. manufacturer ever to have done that. And recently, just in 1998, we are the first U.S. manufacturer in 29 years to win the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans in GT2 with the Viper.
America's only other wins at Le Mans were through the efforts of Carroll Shelby, who before helping conceive the Viper concept, won the World GT title in 1965 with his Cobras, and gave Ford 2 victories at Le Mans with the GT40. Comparisons between those landmark successes and those of the latter-day Snake are unavoidable.
I think there's a lot of parallels there. If you look at the team approach, if you look at the motorsports activity, a lot of the fame from the Cobra came from the racing in the early days, SCCA racing out on the West Coast, and then in Europe later on with Le Mans, those kind of things. And if you look at what we've been doing with the Viper, similar type of approach. Obviously, we just won Le Mans this year, which we're very proud of. Last year, the FIA GT2 championship in Europe. But beyond that, we're now starting to do SCCA racing here in this country. So if you go to a weekend event at one of the local tracks, you'll start to see some Vipers there in the T1 class. So a lot of parallelism between what Carroll did back in the 60s and what we've done.
And what they've done is take a spectacular production car, reworked its powertrain, suspension, and brakes to stand up to the rigors of international GT racing, win a championship or two, and yet use what they've learned from those exploits to improve the Vipers that you and I can find at any Dodge dealer.
Early on in the project, we realized that the engine itself, the engine block, needed to be more robust. We did do that development in the racing program, transferred it directly into the production car program. So the block that's in the car that you buy at your Dodge dealer today and the cylinder heads are exactly the same ones that we used to win Le Mans this year.
The Viper GTS-R will continue to coil and strike at the most fiercely fought road races from Le Mans to Laguna Seca. And its racing future will no doubt lead to even more impressive performances, due in large part to the basic, uncomplicated, fundamental excellence with which it was born.
The Viper really never had any true chronic areas of weakness. What it's been is a project allowing the designers and engineers to truly challenge all of the areas of the car, from chassis, suspension, powertrain, and aerodynamics, to really make the car all it possibly could be. And frankly, even after 3 years and getting into our third season of racing the vehicle, we continue to find new ways to improve on the vehicle and make it even better every year.
And it's practically frightening to think a car that's this awesome has any room for improvement whatsoever.